Talking to myself again, but it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the thoughts I cannot say to you. If I don't say the words, then maybe it's not true.
Good evening, welcome to the Holly and Steve show on NUFC Matters, and can we just say congratulations to the Newcastle women's football team today, who ran out 4-0 winners at St James's Park in front of a crowd in excess of 22,000. And take a bow, Katie Barker, Brooke Cochran, Georgia Gibson and Bethany Guy, who will not forget the day in a hurry, each of them scoring goals for the 4-0 scoreline against Anik ladies. And just a phenomenal game and a phenomenal result all round. And that photograph, of course, is courtesy of Serena, the club photographer. And great to see Amanda there and, taking her part in the now infamous dressing room photograph when a Newcastle United team wins. But monumental day that, Holly, today. A bit of history and, another positive story that we're reporting on about Newcastle United on the show, which is great.
Yeah, 100%. It's great to see so many people turned up to the women's game, and obviously they're like in the 4th tier now, and you're hoping that they'll get promoted, and you think that they will, because I think if they're not top of the league, they're second off top in the league. So it would be great to see them get promoted and start competing more, because I think they deserve the support and they played very well today.
Yeah, they did, and it was great to see War Flags as well doing their little bit to support the lasses as well, with Away the Lasses flag held up today. It just helps to create the atmosphere, the flags, and that was rather special, wasn't it, Holly?
Yeah, War Flags doing great things as always. Yeah.
And yesterday's flag demonstration, I think, was probably one of the best yet. Everybody getting involved again around the ground and helped create a superb atmosphere. Unfortunately, the result didn't go our way, but overall, I think Liverpool deserved it. Newcastle weren't at their best. I don't think Liverpool were at their best either, by the way. But Newcastle didn't really trouble Alisson in goal for Liverpool, and if you don't have a goal at the goal, you're not gonna have much chance of scoring, are you? But I think it showed the gap. The gap is there, but it's not as big a gap as we thought.
Definitely, and you've got to take the positives from that game. A lot of people, and certainly like if you go back 2-3 seasons, you would have thought a 1-0 defeat to Liverpool was probably a good result, because anything other than absolute, thrashing, you'd take on the chin, but just being a 1-0 kind of defeat, and we felt badly done to as well, because I think the referee was appalling on that day, by the way. A few times VAR should have been involved as well, and it wasn't involved. So it wasn't great on that level, but both teams played well. I think Newcastle had their part to play as well. Obviously didn't really do as good as we should have done maybe on the attacking front, but Martin Dubravka had a fantastic game, kept the score down, and the defence did well for the most part. It was a good game, and when you're leaving a game disappointed after being beaten by Liverpool, who was top of the league at that time, obviously went back down to second now after Man City's win, it really does show how far we've came.
Yeah, I mean, my man of the match yesterday was Dan Burn. I thought he was outstanding yesterday. I think he showed his class. I mean, he's been a rock in that defence since he signed in January. And I did think Target had a good game. I put that up last night on Twitter, and a couple of people saying they didn't feel Target had one of his better games, but I just thought they were both outstanding. And Dubravka as well, as you say, he kept the score down, he kept us in it, and there was always that chance of a breakaway and potentially getting a goal, But who was your man of the match?
It's got to be Martin Dubravka for me. I thought it was a brilliant performance on so many different levels. A lot of people are complaining about his kicking. Dubravka's kicking has never been great at the club, but it's never really caused a problem either. So I wouldn't even get concerned about that personally. People again saying that he didn't command his box well. I always think that he does. I think especially when it's set pieces, when it's corners and stuff, you can see him organising the defence, telling people what positions to be in. I think he does really well at that. And in that game, I don't think I could fault him once. He made some fantastic saves, absolutely blind us. It took us back to that debut game that he played against Manchester United, where he saved pretty much every shot that was put to him. It was excellent. And I think at 33 years of age and after a serious injury where he almost could have lost his leg, he's absolutely great, and he could make it in pretty much any first team, and I'd certainly stick with him next season, that's for sure, although I would strengthen in the goalkeeper department because I don't have as much faith in, Darlow, Gillespie, etc.
To be honest, you mentioned VAR there, and you said that you felt that there should have been, a couple of things looked at. Which incidents are you talking about?
When Mane obviously went to kick the ball when it was in Dubravka's hands, almost kicked him in the face. If it didn't even clip his face, I think it did, because you could see him holding his face at one point. I thought that was disgraceful, and thankfully Dubravka wasn't seriously injured, but he could have been, and that could have been, a season-ending injury, and it should have been looked at. For me, he got a yellow card. It probably should have been a red, but they should have at least had the decency to look at it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, again, it was my brother who sent us the footage that I retweeted this morning, and it was, his studs were up. I think that was what my brother was trying to see. He says it should have certainly been a red card, and I think a lot of people on the post that I put were making the point that Mane's got a bit of history. It's only a week or so ago that he was trying to gouge somebody's eye out in the Merseyside derby. Somebody said so. This is. You need that kind of thing in a side. You need a bit of nastiness, I guess. And you can count yourself lucky that it wasn't the victim of a VAR decision yesterday. The one which, of course, I think led to the goal, I think it's been proven beyond all reasonable doubt now, was a fair challenge by Milner. But at the time, it looked as if it was a foul. And, the players did seem to stop expecting the referee's whistle to come. But Liverpool, kept pressing and, ultimately got the winning goal from that move.
Yeah, they did. Really unfortunate as well, because I think there was a few occasions where we could have prevented that goal, and it was just a bit of sloppiness, a bit of panic, and certainly the defence flapped a lot around that goal, and then eventually did manage to get it in. And Dubravka wasn't really able to do anything about that for me, because he was all over the place trying to stop it. At one point, it was outside the goal, and they're just passing it, and you could see it was going to happen at some stage, especially since we weren't really having any shots on target ourselves, so we knew we weren't going to get back into that game. But I think that's what I found most frustrating in the game as well for me. It was just the fact that we were only 1-0 down. We had quite a long time to get back into the game, and we didn't really have those shots on target that you would like to have seen.
No, I mean, it's one of those things, you're playing the team at the top of the league, and that, it's going to be a tough test. And we'll talk at the end of the show, looking ahead to Man City next. It's out of the frying pan and literally into the fire with that game. So we will see what happens next week, and to come to that towards the end of the show. Okay, this is your show, guys and girls. So get your comments in the comments box, and we'll come to as many of them as we can. Tom Dixon says, brilliant win for the Lasses today and a tremendous atmosphere. It's great to see so many fans turn out. And there was a delay to the kickoff as well, Holly, wasn't there? Because there was that many people trying to get in.
Yeah, delayed the game by 15 minutes, and again, it just shows how crazy the support was. It was initially expected to be only the East Stand, and then supporters were in the Gallagher and the Leazers.
Yeah, amazing stuff, fantastic, and not gone unnoticed by our owners as well. With me and Dad putting a tweet out, he had to confirm that the attendance wasn't 21,500; it was actually over 22. But fantastic, and certainly they know that they've bought the right football club. Rachel says, "Good evening, Stephen Holly. Great result for the Lasses and the amazing support." Tom was there. He says, "Evening, everyone. I had a smashing afternoon watching NUFC women. I can confirm that the post-match glow after a win is exactly the same, regardless of whether it's the men or the women." That's great. Roger had an afternoon on the settee, I think, after his session yesterday. It was good to see you, Roger. I had a couple of drinks with Roger myself. The difference is, with a bit of age and experience, Roger, I know when to go home. So I was tucked up and in bed by 9 o'clock. It's not big and it's not clever staying out till 2 a.m, Roger. And I'm sure you've suffered the day. Tom asks a question. He says, who's going to win the Premier League title? It's a great question, Tom. As is, who's going to get relegated, which Holly and I were discussing before we came on air. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say Liverpool. I think Liverpool are the better team. I think Liverpool were the better team the season that they lost by a point, and that's the way it looks. It's going to be this. It looks like it's going to be like that this time, but I've just got a feeling Man City's going to slip, and I think Newcastle could be the team to do the damage. I'm going to go for Liverpool to win the league. Tom, what about you, Holly?
I'd go Man City to win the league. I do think they have the extra bit of class over Liverpool, but it's going to be close, very, very close. I think there'll be about a point in it, if that. However, I do think that Liverpool will probably go on to, get the FA Cup, and they've obviously got their fight in the Champions League as well. So they'll definitely get silverware this season. But if I was to put a bet on it now, I'd probably say Man City will just pip them by a point or so.
Okay, the Scouse Mackems managed to claw a result today, beating Chelsea 1-0. Arsenal, of course, back in the Champions League positions today after a win against West Ham. And Spurs, on Arsenal's coattails, managed to win as well. That North London derby between Spurs and Arsenal is going to be a Champions League decider, which is going to be a proper humdinger in the next couple of weeks. But at the bottom of the table, things are really starting to get interesting now. Burnley, an amazing turnaround yesterday, 1-0 down at Watford, managed to claw a win from the jaws of defeat, and 2 late goals secured a 2-1 win for them. Watford and Norwich condemned, only one spot to play for. Leeds, Everton and Burnley. Who's going down, Holly?
I'm going to stick with Everton.
Interesting. I'm going to go Leeds. I think Leeds are going to fall. I think Leeds they've just lost Dallas as well yesterday, and it looks like a bad injury. They've had no luck at all this season with injuries. I'm going to go Leeds. I think Burnley will get out of it, but I think Everton's home form.
How many points gaps between Leeds and Everton?
2 points. And they've got a game in hand, and Everton have got a game in hand on Burnley and on Leeds. So it's in the mix. It's all in the mix at the moment. But Everton win the game in hand, they're out the relegation zone. And their home form is good. They're winning home games, which is obviously Frank Lampard's aim. And, from his perspective, he'll be delighted with that performance today. And rightly so. But I think Leeds will go. But interesting to see what you think in the chat. XXX, hi. Welcome back to the channel again. Good to see you here. Alan Little says, what's these home defeat things like? We've had a great run of home wins. Well done, Eddie and the lads. Yeah, I've got to be honest, Holly. I came out of the game. We didn't see each other after the game, but I didn't feel too downhearted. I've got to be perfectly honest. I came out of that game. We didn't get humiliated. We didn't get hammered. It was a tight game. I came out of that game a bit like I did out of the Chelsea game. I felt like we'd arrived on the big stage. And I know that when we have, a few more acquisitions in the summer, that, that game is going to be, again, a lot harder for Liverpool. And Liverpool showed us respect yesterday.
Definitely, and I felt a bit the same. I was disappointed, of course, and I think that's natural to be disappointed because there was a chance there for us to take something from the game, and I think we were more than capable of doing that, which we didn't manage to do. But on the other hand, before the game, many people felt as though we get beat, 3-1, whatever the score, and we only conceded that 1 goal. So it wasn't a bad result at all. We did play well, and we did try. It was mainly, the attacking front three that kind of let us down, but they did try their best as well, and I thought Almiron put in a fantastic shift again. Obviously, we saw Chris Wood come on at one stage, and I felt as though it was a bit bizarre that we didn't have a natural striker start in the game. I know that we did that at Norwich, and obviously we won 3-0, but there's a big difference between Norwich and Liverpool. But the fact that we only got beat 1-0 left disappointed. Again, it's just a sign of how far we've came, and I agree with you in the sense that a few extra players coming through the door in the summer, and we can definitely compete with the teams at the top.
Yeah, Almiron did okay yesterday. I mean, he was unlucky. He was offside, but he took that chance away. Obviously flagged offside. He did okay, yeah. And I still think there's room for him in the squad next season. But, there's going to be changes. And I mean, we've seen this week, Holly, about Dummett, Longstaff, all these players that Eddie Howe's either spoken about or had mentions about. And Fabian Shaw signed a new contract this week, a new 2-year deal. What's your take on Shaw and Longstaff in particular? Because it seems as if they're both going to be part of Eddie Howe's plans.
Fabian Shaw, I was delighted to see him sign a new 2-year deal. I think he's been great since he came into the club. Had a little bit of dip in performance, but I think under Eddie Howe, he's came back to his best, and he's been one of the standout defenders. And him and Dan Burn play very well together as well. I think that's a solid back two when you're playing a 4 at the back formation. So for me, really good to see him sign that 2-year contract. Gutting though that obviously he played that game and then got injured. That's just typical. Really disappointed in that for him, but hopefully he's back not too far in the near future, and he'll be back for the start of the season and do well again. And Sean Longstaff, I'm a big fan of both the Longstaff brothers. I'd love to see them do well. Obviously, being local lads, I don't think Sean Longstaff's been great for a while now. He did improve a little bit, not quite to the level I'd want for him to be starting games, in the first team. I don't think he's good enough for that personally. But in the squad, obviously, to come on off the bench, things like that, then that's fine by me. I'd like to see him given that chance next season. And who's to say he couldn't improve next year with the extra training in the summer, more time with Eddie Howe and getting good coaching. But I'm hoping that he's not, the starting midfielder next season. And he hasn't been for a few weeks, to be fair.
As we're talking, Newcastle attendance for the women's game today is really making headlines. Virtually every news network is pushing out the story. 22,000 plus fans were at the game. It's actually the largest crowd for a women's league match in England this season. And with Newcastle being in the 4th tier, that is even more amazing. But it's making worldwide news, which is fantastic. And again, that's a massive positive. And congratulations to them and well done, to everybody who went along and made that a really, really special day. Tom, we will come to the Man City game at the end of the show, so don't worry, we will come to that. Gavin, all good, mate. I hope you are well. Thanks for tuning in. Rachel says, I think it's definitely going to be a last day fight against relegation between Burnley, Leeds and the Scouse Macklins. I really hope it's the Scouse Macklins. It looks like it's going to go to the last day. It really does. Everton have got a history of escaping on the last day, though. So, we will wait and see. Tom says, Marnier's high kick lunged into Dubravka's thigh and then he used his legs to grapple Dubravka's left leg and haul him down. He should have been a red. Yeah, I think we all see that. We all watched it back, and that's the thing that stands out 100%. It's disappointing, but we dust ourselves down and we go again. And 100%, I'd like to see Newcastle next season. With some new players, give them a real game. Dean says, face it, Liverpool won fair and square. Yeah, they did, Dean. They're a better team. They've got a chance of winning a lot of silverware this season. We're not saying that they didn't deserve to win. What we're saying is Newcastle didn't really turn up, and Liverpool are probably beyond, weren't at their best either. They've had a pretty hectic schedule because of all the trophies that they're in, and look, we just didn't get the rub of the green with that particular decision. Would it have changed? Would it have been any difference if Liverpool had been down to 10 men? Maybe not. Who knows? Chippers, good evening. He says, found ASM's performance yesterday baffling, putting balls into the box without a striker. Yeah, when we play with a striker, he doesn't do it. What do you make of that, Holly?
I totally agree. Unfortunately, I think consistently now for quite a long stretch, Alan St-Maximin has been poor. There's been the odd game where he's done well, and he's got the praise that he deserves for that. But for me, he needed to step up massively, and he just hasn't done that. Obviously, there was a period where he went on social media, said he was going to improve his performance, responding to fan criticism, and he hasn't. And what reason, I do not know. But a lot of the times, he's getting found out. And I think he's had a few years in the Premier League now. People know what kind of player he is. People aren't marking him as heavily even now as they were in the past, because he's very, very predictable. And he'll get the ball, and he doesn't really do anything with it. He's got a little bit better at being less selfish, making the passes when he needs to, but he just does a lot of skill, a lot of running, but no kind of final product. He just loses the ball far too often. His tackles aren't always the greatest, and I just think there's a lot of 50-50 challenges where he will get beat every single time. And when we're playing him up top as a striker, it never works. It never has worked. Not really sure why we did that. That's one thing that I was scratching my head at before kickoff. I understand why, because obviously you want to keep the momentum from the Norwich game, but when it comes to the bottom of the table and then you're playing someone at the top of the table, I just would have made that change personally. And I'm very surprised that Eddie Howe stuck with Alan St-Maximin, to be honest, because I don't think that he's been trying his best for quite a few weeks consistently.
Tom just talking about the teething problems at the game. He says, problem was that there were people still coming through the East Stand turnstiles, but it was full. People had to walk around the side of the pitch to get into the leasers. Could have been better organised, but it was just teething problems. Yeah, I think they didn't expect such a big crowd to turn up. I think that was the problem. Ultimately, it was fantastic to see such a big crowd, Tom. But yeah, the teething problems, definitely. As for the relegation battle, well, Tom thinks Everton are going. Dean thinks Leeds. So that is interesting to see. A lot of different views on that. John says, could you really have squeezed another 30,000? You could have really squeezed another 30,000 in the ground today. There looked a canny few more than 22,000 there. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they could have anticipated how many would turn up. But look, Newcastle's got a history of this, supporting, their teams. I mean, the old reserve games that I used to go to at St James's Park, when there was a new signing, the new signing used to go straight into the reserves to get a run out. And Nobby Solano, prime example. I'd have to check through the record books, but I know that there was an attendance of about 5,000 plus for a reserve game. I was sitting in the East Stand and watched him play, and I think it was a 5-2 win, and I think Nobby scored 2 on his reserve team debut. So, we have got a history of filling that ground. We filled the ground when a signing takes place, for God's sake. So, it's no surprise at all. But yeah, so maybe they should have been a bit more organised. Everton have got 3 away games out of their last 5 fixtures, says Chippers. Yeah, 2 home wins, though, are possible, I think. And I think I might just get them safe. It'll be interesting. Trulls says, we aren't safe. Almost all teams below us have 1 or 2 matches more to play than us. But guess it's old NUFC nerves. I still think we're safe, Trulls. I can't see anybody overtaking us. I genuinely cannot. If it does happen, it will be a horrendous sucker punch. And I still think there's points to pick up. I expect us to win at least 1 more game this season and probably pick up 1, if not 2 draws. I'm still confident. Newcastle haven't got the flip-flops on. It showed yesterday that they ran themselves into the ground. Tom says, did you expect Wood not to start yesterday? I've got to be honest, I thought that the team would have been unchanged from the Norwich game. I didn't expect as many changes. I don't know about you, Holly.
I thought we would play a recognised striker in that game, if I'm being honest.
Mm.
Whether it be Wood or Dwight Gale, you'd imagine it would be Wood because Gale's just clearly not in favour. But yeah, I was surprised to see that, and I was happy to bring him on, but I felt like maybe that came a little bit too late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I just think we should have started with Wood. I personally think. I think he had been jaded. We had a lot of fixtures in close succession. I think he looked a bit tired. He's done a hell of a lot of work, to help us stay up. But yeah, I did expect to play a striker yesterday, Tom, 100%. Trolls, we are 100% safe, mate, says John. I hope you're enjoying the snooker, John. I hope it's all going well. John Askew says, do you wish the Scousers well in their quadruple quest? I do. I've got a soft spot for Liverpool. Holly?
I would rather Man City win the league than Liverpool, personally.
Really?
Yeah. I prefer to watch Man City. I think they're a lot more entertaining to watch. I think they've got better players, but as well, I don't know. I think it's just the arrogance sort of Liverpool supporters that I sometimes don't like. But at the same time, I wouldn't be absolutely gutted if Liverpool won. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care that much. But if I got to pick, I'd probably choose Man City. I'm from a different generation, I guess, and it's because Liverpool were always winning trophies when I was younger, and I didn't dislike them. I mean, Newcastle were never on their level back in the 80s, and you used to enjoy watching the likes of Bruce Grobbelaar and Graham Souness and Ian Rush and that, and it was just entertaining football. They've always been an entertaining team, so that's probably why I wish them well. But yeah, two different opinions there. Do you think Trippier will play against Man City? Says Rachel. I thought he was going to be involved yesterday. I did have a gut feeling he was going to be involved yesterday. I know Eddie Howe said at his press conference that he wasn't going to be involved, but I had a feeling he would have been. But I still think, he can't be too far away, Holly, can he? No, you certainly wouldn't think so. And I think before the end of the season, whether it'll be Man City or Arsenal or even the last game against Burnley, you'll see him on the bench and then probably come on in the second half, depending on the score.
Yeah, Troll says, damn Ashley and Bruce giving me these late season nerves. Yano says, we need a mobile striker and could do a lot worse than a free recruit, Eddie Nketiah from Arsenal. What do you think about that shout from Yano?
Yeah, we were linked with him back in January, and a lot of people were a big fan. So he could be a good option, and I totally agree that we do need a mobile striker. We need someone that's just constantly in the box, running for the ball, getting in the right positions. Because far too many times, I think we've got strikers that want the ball literally put to their feet rather than actually going out of their way to get the ball.
Yeah, we need pace throughout the team. We need a quick centre half to go alongside Dan Burn. We need another quick centre midfielder because, you know, John Joe, for all the good work he's done in this run-in, you know, he gets caught out against mobile midfielders. He just hasn't got the legs anymore. And we need a quick centre forward as well. So yeah, I would agree. Nketiah might be a good shout. Paul Gibson says Chelsea were terrible today, looking for a 0-0. Makes you wonder if they were doing so-called Super Frank a favour. I still hope they go down. I just think there's a hangover over Chelsea with this whole, you know, sale of the club, Holly.
Yeah, that's got to be causing them a lot of stress. It's not a great position to be in. You know, they could end up in all kinds of financial troubles. And it's even the same with us. I think when obviously our takeover rolled on for like 18 months, and you could see that having an impact on the players and even Steve Bruce to an extent because there was just so much uncertainty. So when you have got a takeover going through, especially under the circumstances that Chelsea are under, it will play a part. And, you know, that performance against Everton was very, very poor from them.
Alan Thompson, good evening. He says some people are saying the gap is small. It is huge. Liverpool are 82 points, Newcastle 43 points, but no need to go into a meltdown. It's how we bridge the gap that counts. I would agree, Alan. It's only 6.5 months into the takeover, mate. We're in our infancy, and I would say that Liverpool is the benchmark, or Man City is the benchmark. People are saying that we want to be the next Leicester, we want to be the next Wolves, we want to be the next Aston Villa. No. You want to be the next Liverpool. You want to be the next Man City. You want to be the next Chelsea. That's what you want to be. And that's what you want to aspire to be. You want to have players and a squad as good as those teams. And we have the money to do that now. So let's hope that the next transfer window bodes well. And when we're back on the road with the NUFC matters, car heads off down to the first pre-season friendly that we've got a few new signings, Holly. It'll be massively positive. That, let's hope so. John Spence says if ASM wants to win the Ballon d'Or, he needs to turn up against the big clubs. Yeah, it always gets thrown back at them, that one. The Ballon d'Or quote. John Justice Allen says Burn, Dubravka, Target, and Bruno turned up yesterday. The rest were poor, but Eddie Howe deserves huge respect for a sensational turnaround and a great escape. And John says, have Liverpool surprised you? For me, they've got the edge on everyone and have a stronger defence than City. They seem to have the right team and conducting transfers as well. I don't think they surprised me at all. Liverpool are consistent, and that comes down to the manager, I think. They're really, really consistent. And genuinely speaking, Man City and Liverpool are very, very neck and neck, hence the 1 point gap. Though it's becoming almost like Celtic and Rangers, you know what I mean? And the league gets decided on the games played between the two teams. It's getting like that with those two. They're both phenomenal. I just hope that we can get to that level. Gary says it would have been a cricket score for Liverpool if Steve Bruce had still been in charge. Steve says, I would agree, Holly, as well. Yeah,
100%. We would have just capitulated.
Yeah. John Mitchison says, even in all, can someone tell me why the hatred towards Pickford, a good keeper, got Everton the win today? Loads of Newcastle and Sunderland have played for both clubs. Given, Moncur, Anderson, etc. Okay. Why the dislike for Pickford more than other people?
Well, for me, the arrogance for a start. He comes to St James's Park, he stood in the goal, he's sticking his tongue out to the fans in the Leazer's end. He was just being generally quite aggressive about it, and just his mannerisms on the pitch and everything just makes him seem so arrogant all of the time. And I just think the way he handles everything is so poor. And then of course he encourages them, he encourages the hate to bring it onto himself, because ultimately we sing a few songs about him. and then he starts flapping, he concedes goals. And 9 times out of 10, Jordan Pickford is the reason why we beat Everton. And we've seen that so many games. There's been some brilliant ones. 2-0 down at half time, then we had that 3-2 comeback. 2-0 down in extra time, we got another 2 goals through Florian Lejeune. There's been so many times, and it's always because Pickford is just, his head's gone. And so, of course, if he's responding like that to the hate, it's going to encourage more hate, because if the fans can help Newcastle win, they're going to do that.
Yeah, I would agree. It is, and John would agree as well. He says John Richardson, it's the way he behaves off the pitch and not a reflection on his ability, I believe. But yeah, he does wind people up, and I mean, look, he's a character. That's basically what he is. He's a character. Okay, we'll come back to more of your points in a minute. I just want to thank, as always, our sponsors, Spider Miner, who give worldwide coverage. They're the only cryptocurrency miner that can mine 5 different cryptocurrencies all at the same time, whilst using virtually no energy, and it's VPN protected. Buy yours now at www.miner.spidervpn.org. Thanks for your sponsorship, lads. And thanks also to skipsandbins.com. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com. Website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy contract free and pay-as-you-go waste collection. Thanks also to L&G Family Funeral Directors 01913897245. And to Garden of Healing Dispensary, CBD hemp and cannabinoid specialists, www.gohd.com. Thanks also to qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend, Newcastle, and the guys who run our website, NUFCmatters.com. And thanks to ClearKai, meet the new Game Over screen, drop into a ClearRun device near you, available on Apple Store, Google Play, and clearrun.game. Thanks also to Media Arts for all their help with video stuff that they do for our channel. If you want to subscribe, hit the Newcastle Legends logo in the bottom right-hand corner and you can subscribe for free. Hit the thumb up to like the video and click share to share to your social media, and drop into the comments box to speak to like-minded Newcastle fans. And as for sharing it, guys, not something I ask on a regular basis, but please drop this onto Newcastle United forums, onto Facebook pages, share it on your Twitter, stick it out on your social media. Give this channel a subscription. Help us, because we're on our way to 50,000 subscribers. It would be nice to hit that this year. I know it's a big ask. We're not far off hitting 48,000 now, so only 2,000 to go. It'd be nice to hit that before Christmas. So give it a share to Facebook groups, the Twitter groups, etc. That would help us massively. We're also available as a podcast on iTunes and Spotify and other podcast providers, and that usually goes up 24 hours after the show. There may be a slight delay in this week's episodes as Media Arts head man is away, and it's him who loads them. So apologies if some of you are affected this week. Don't forget, you can join the channel. Just simply click join on my YouTube page, and you can join the channel that way, or you can become a firm member of the cult and get a pen, a cup, a membership card, and a scarf. Simply go to NUFCmatters.com and look for membership, or put your smartphone over the top of this QR code and you can join that way. We also have a monthly draw on the show. Sometimes we give away free match tickets, so keep an eye out for that. If you're a subscriber, don't forget to email John at NUFCmatters.com, and he will be able to send you out your free car sticker. And if you can help the food bank, please do, NUFC fans. Foodbank.co.uk, the virtual matchday bucket is available 365 days of the year, and you can make a donation to the food bank that way. We've still got the Shearer Ball raffle on the go. It is limited to 99 tickets. Enter now at NUFCmatters.com. Tickets are £2.99. 99 to 1 chance of winning a unique 260 ball signed by Alan Shearer. They are very nice, and quite a few tickets have already gone for that. So hopefully be drawing that this week. NUFC Matters are also doing the summer event at Shearer's Bar. Mick Lowes and Andy Griffin are together on Friday the 24th of June. Tickets for the event are £12. And you can get them from NUFCmatters.com. Okay, back to the chat. And Geordie Toomba Life says, wish that, was that Steve Bruce? We'll dust ourselves and go again. Some things take a while to get out of your system. John says, is our lack of creativity a concern, or should we just be reassured that recruits are likely in the months ahead? I would say we should be assured that we're going to have a good transfer window, Ollie.
100%, and I don't think we're struggling that bad. I think you get in a decent striker and someone that can support him and play alongside him well, and that's your problem solved. Because I think obviously you've got the likes of Bruno there, you've got Joe Linton, you've got Almiron, St. Maximin on his day, and then obviously people like John Joe Shelby. I know people are on the fence with him, think we can do better, but he can be a great player when he wants to be, and his passing in that Liverpool game as well was excellent.
Yeah, it definitely was. Trulls says we use ASM as a scapegoat. There are other players that are worse, but we don't mention them. Is that true?
Sometimes I think, yeah, but I think the reason why St. Maximin probably stands out is because we were so reliant on him for like 2 seasons. He pretty much carried us for those 2 seasons, and all eyes were on him because he was the most talented player at the club by far. But now, obviously, there's like Bruno and people like that, so it's a lot more competitive. But people are still looking at Alan St. Maximin, wondering why he isn't that player that he was a couple of years ago. And I think it's just the fact that obviously he's came out with those statements about the Ballon d'Or and things like that, and his activity on social media that at times doesn't help him because it just creates more attention towards him because he is a character.
Does he get more stick because he's high profile, says John? Others who perform with a similar lack of productivity hardly get a mention.
That's what I was just alluding to. Yeah, I'd 100% say that's right.
Yeah. Good evening, Gareth. Hope you're well. Paul Gibson says the Katie Taylor fight was great last night. Much better than the Conman Fury versus Free and White. That was a joke. Are you a boxing fan, Holly?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Katie Taylor, I mean, it was fantastic, wasn't it? Headlining at Madison Square Gardens and been a good weekend for women.
Definitely. It's great to see, obviously, within boxing and then in football as well, just raising the profile more.
Yeah, Jano says yesterday's game highlighted Target's lack of pace. Kraft is way faster and he's slow compared to the best fullbacks in the league. Don't think Eddie fancies him on a permanent. Do you think Target will sign on a permanent?
Yeah, I do. I think Eddie Howe definitely wants to sign him because he's played like pretty much every game. He's been praised, and look, he's fit into the team straight away. That's all you could ask. So if we could get him for 10 million, which is the believed fee from Aston Villa, then I'd certainly take him for that price.
Yes, I mean, I'd do it between 10 and 15, but I mean, I would take him 100%. I think he's been a massive part of this revival, and I'd love to see him at Newcastle permanently. Paul says, come on, the Rockets in the snooker. Took the 6-1 at the start. Yeah, John's down there from Q-Tech enjoying it, and Ronnie O'Sullivan is certainly back in top form. Alan Thompson says, we all know where we lack. Liverpool's press was fantastic to watch. Willock, Shelby, Wood, Kraft, and to some extent ASM were found out on Saturday, and we all know we need to rebuild, which I've got to say I would agree. I would agree with you there. John also says, I suspect Leeds might be a bit concerned with today's result and Burnley's form. The proper Scouse Liverpool supporters are spot on, says Tom. Liverpool trying to stop our takeover, and that's what happened in the 90s. I can't stand them. John says, if Liverpool win the quadruple, we'll have to win the quintuple. Yano says ASM's failure to track back means he either plays in the middle or he doesn't play. It's becoming a problem for Eddie. Good to see you sorted your technology, Holly. And the Supermax said some sensible comments, says David John Cook. Alan says, the only reason I don't want Liverpool to win 4 trophies in a season is because I want Newcastle to be the first team to do it. And hoping Sheffield Wednesday win on Friday night against the Mackham, says Tom. Yeah, they've scraped into the playoffs, haven't they, Holly?
I was absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. But, I think, right, go to Wembley again, because I think they will go to Wembley and get beat, and then everyone can just celebrate again. Because, let's face it, they're not going to play us in the Championship next season, but I personally don't want them to get promoted.
Pickford had a good game today. Should we sign him, says David? Nah, definitely not. Definitely not. Another great win for Gateshead, Tom. Yes, they are one foot back in the proper conference and one league away from league football away. You'll maybe get to the Europa League semi like Rangers one day. All the best to you and your team, says Southside Glasgow. We did get there once, mate. Obviously with the Fairs Cup, we won it in 69, but we were back in the semi-finals against Marseille, mate. And Didier Drogba did for us in the semis. We got a draw at home and then got beat away. I think that was the way it worked anyway. John says, snooker session about to start. I'll catch up later. Enjoy, everyone. Enjoy the snooker, mate. Man City's probably a better model to follow than Liverpool because, like us, they have been absolutely poor for long periods of time. Liverpool being poor has been finishing 7th or 8th, says Tom. David says, ASM made a cross yesterday. Trouble was there was nobody in the middle. Yeah, we've mentioned that earlier on. Alan says, don't worry, guys, in the chat. If Leeds get beat off Arsenal next week, it's virtually impossible that we will go down as Leeds' goal difference is simple. Up the tune, says Southside Glasgow. City have poor support. If Liverpool play City, Istanbul will be red, like the Geordies. Fantastic support. Given a Moncur on Mackham, says Tom, just getting back to the Pickford. Pickford asks for his own stick, says Tim Cairns, with a little dinosaur emoji there. And Paul says, wonder if any Baggy fans are getting the cabbages ready yet for our favourite Geordie son, Steve Bruce. Yeah, he's done well, hasn't he? He's took them from a promotion position down into mid-table.
Absolutely terrible. Imagine being a West Brom fan. It'd be just so soul destroying, and like how he got into that job after Newcastle, I do not know, because you think after what he'd done there, people would be like, right, it's time to just let him retire. No one should be appointing him. Then he got the West Brom job. It's absolute madness.
Holly, his handling, Pickford's, is so bad because he's got little hands, says Roger.
Little arms and little hands.
Tuning Rangers all day. Yes, I agree, mate. It was a great Old Firm derby this morning. I watched that early this afternoon. Sorry, Rangers should have won it though. Should have won. Far better team in the second half. Tim Cairn says food to try: hot cross bun with Stilton and marmalade. Well, that does remind me that we should really be doing some of Holly's favourite section, which is Rate Walk. So when we have our do on the 24th of June, Holly and I are going to be sampling some delicacies, and we've got 3 to look at today. So let's have a look at these and see if any of them are going to make the final order. A doner meat toasty.
That's 10 out of 10 from me, 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We'll probably have to eat it cold, so that's in. I'll have that then. We'll go for that. Greg's sausage and bean pasty from Iceland. Fries, mushy peas and gravy from Rocky.
Too plain.
So that's a no. Andrew.
What is
on
that?
Earth is that? That looks like 2 slices of toast, crust cut off, a thin thing of butter, thin spread of butter, and 2 cherry tomatoes on top.
Is that what it is? Cherry tomatoes?
Well, that's what I think it is.
It looks like really enlarged egg yolks.
I don't know, is it? Maybe Andrew will be able to tell us what on earth it is. I thought it was cherry tomatoes. Is it 2 eggs? Is it 2 eggs? Is it 2 eggs in the shell?
In the shell? No, it's not in the shell.
Well, they're not actually. It looks like they're in the shells.
Really?
Andrew, you're going to have to contact us, mate, and tell us what on earth that is.
But I don't know what to give you as an answer because I don't know what it is.
I'm going to leave it in there,
right,
and we're going to come back to that. So so you'll have to write that down. So that is in.
Yeah.
Doner meat toasties. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So there must be. Is there cheese in there as well? It looks like cheese, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay. So that is another one that is in. Andrew, we'll have to come back to this. I've got no idea what the hell it is. So come back to us and let us know what it is, and we will come back to that. But that is our Rate Well Played this week. And thank you, Tom. Hot cross buns with Stilton and marmalade. I'm sure it's very nice, but I think we'll not be able to get any hot cross buns by the time we do this in June. 50,000 cult members sounds amazing. Share the love, says Julie. Thank you very much. I tell people to view in, says Tim, which is great of you. Thank you. Liverpool fans, great with me as a kid when they sat with me before the 74 Cup final, says David. And this one from Terraces. Stephen Holly, any plans to hold an appreciation session for War Flags for the wonderful role they have played in reshaping our season? I don't think the lads and lasses would want it. I think they're just happy doing what they do. And the best way that we can celebrate them and support them is by continuing to donate. And they're very happy. They're very happy with the way things are going. But yeah, I think we always pay pay our respects to them on here. So, I'm not sure they would want the praise. I'll read Jobadini. He says, Willock's been poor. Yeah, hasn't had a great season, has he?
Not really, but it's been hard for him because he had that loan spell where he was scoring every game, coming off the bench and scoring. Then the goals didn't follow him and his performance dipped a little bit. I think it was a confidence thing. So it has been difficult for Willock, but hopefully next season he can get back to his best, because I really do just think it's a mentality thing with him.
Claire says, we were there today. What a match. Big up the lasses footy. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Claire. Tim, I'm fine. I'm just a bit hungover, mate. Like I say, I trying to drink with the big boys yesterday. One of my mates had a stag do, so I went out with him after the match. So no, I'm fine, mate. I'm fine. Just a bit tired. I think a good night's sleep won't sort out. Thoughts on the video doing the rounds on Twitter of Jacob Murphy and the stack last night, starting off the Joe Linton chat. Absolutely brilliant, wasn't it? Did you see that?
I didn't see it.
I've retweeted it about 10 minutes before we came on air, so you'll have to watch it. But Jacob Murphy actually stood up on a chair or a table and started the Joe Linton song off.
That's brilliant. Did you see as well when Bruno said that he was practicing English by singing his chant in the house?
Yeah, brilliant.
That was
absolutely brilliant. Yeah, come on, lads and lasses, give this channel a share. It takes a few seconds to do. Thanks for all the entertainment throughout the season, Stephen Holly. Done. Thank you, Geordie Toomper Life. Makes a big difference. And just ask people to subscribe. It is free. Tell them it's 7 shows a week. That would be very good for us. Who's the first signing you make next season, Steve? I still think they'll bring a forward in first. It's the one we need. And I think they'll bring a forward in. I think they've already done their homework Southside. I think they'll bring a forward in. I have a feeling it'll be... God, it's a tough one. I think they'll be interested in Paqueta as well. There seems to be too much noise around that. Maybe it'll be Matt Target, though. Maybe that'll be the first signing. I think it'll be a centre forward, but I couldn't give you a name. Yano says, I predict we don't sign Target this summer. You heard it here second, as I've said it before. Yeah, it's definitely 50-50. Shelby, he's gotten a damn sight better. Passed well yesterday. He's my butt. Always turns the same way and defensively not on Bruno's level. Improve, in my opinion. Yeah, I would say. And it was a big river, says Roger. Yeah, I do remember singing that at some point yesterday, mate. I can't remember when, though. Saturday approved the quad is wafer thin. Their bench was eye-watering. Can't wait for the future. And Paul Gibson says, I rolled up at the Blue Dolphin in Scarborough. We did on Monday, and I fell flat on my face. First night I've been walking around like an elephant man all week. I'm never drinking vodka again. Pickford was excellent. We should not sign him, says Jobadini. David says, we need to share our Pickford chance with Everton's remaining opponents to see the Scouse Mackems down. Terrace says, I may be deluded, but my hunch is that we are about the same level with Arsenal, West Ham and Leicester, courtesy of Eddie Howe. Would you agree?
Well, maybe not Arsenal, because I think Arsenal have done quite well this season. But certainly West Ham, we gave them a run for their money. Leicester's below us in the league, I believe. But yeah, West Ham, though, I think they have had a better season than us, I think, but we certainly outplayed them when we went down to their place. So we're in and around that level. I wouldn't say we're quite on the level of Arsenal. Somewhere in between West Ham and Leicester this season, I would say.
Okay, sitting in the Leazes today, the roof looks very old. Hopefully we get it cleaned or a new roof on the stadium. I think we need some extension to the ground first, Tom, but yeah, they've got a lot of work to do. Just for you, thanks. This is referring to what we were talking about on the Amigos. We won the Texaco Cup twice in 74 and 75. We beat Burnley then and Southampton over 2 legs. Cheers. T-Rex. Yes. Yeah, very funny, Dean. Donna Meat Toasty says, Rachel, yes. Geordie Toomper Life, I was there and I still have the programmes. It's a baked bean on the bread or the toast.
How big were them baked beans like?
They were big, like 2 baked beans, says Rachel. Wow. The picture looked deceiving. Looks like eggs, says Tom.
Yeah, it does.
Beans, says Jabadini. Look like baked beans, says Yano. Tomatoes, says Dean, which is what I thought. Jelly beans, says Geordie Toomper Life. Peach, says Adza. 1 baked bean per tiny square of bread, Steve Wraith, says Julie. Single baked bean,
I don't
says
think
Gerard Killen. They were has-beens, says Tim Cairns. Buy the hot crust buns and stick them in the freezer. They'll last a few months, says Tom. Right, okay. if anybody, well, if there's anyone still got them. Don't forget to hit the likes and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Rachel. Anyone looks lacking pace against Salah and Diaz, you're right there, mate. They are very quick. Diaz was excellent yesterday. Think I'll watch our new signing Paqueta on BT Sports tonight. Yeah, he's on tonight, isn't he? Tune and Celtic all day, Southside, says Doug. My first signing would be Paqueta. Lewandowski, which is Malcolm McDonald's big shout. He would love to see him in. Atike is a done deal, says Tim. Yeah, that's the person I think I'd like to see come in. You see or hear Everton fans have nicked the song for Richarlison, the copycats. Yeah, I've seen that, Julie, today. Paqueta, more Brazilian, please. Yeah, I think Brazilian's the way forward. All right, Tommy, hope you're doing well, mate. Southside, Glasgow, we beat Rangers in the semi of the Fairs Cup, says David John Cook. Going back to the Fairs Cup days, I will get Ayling and Phillips from Leeds and Lacazette from Arsenal. I think it'll be very easy to get a couple of Leeds players if they go down 100%. I'm not so sure on Lacazette, like Holly.
I wouldn't go for Lacazette personally.
Okay, good afternoon from Lakeland, Florida, says Kevin Hawthorne. I hope the weather's nice out there, mate. Lovely place. I've been to that part of the world. Do you think we'll get a new PA system for next season, says Tom?
Well, what in terms of what?
A new PA system, some new speakers. I think it's a lot better, Tom.
Oh.
It used to be awful. It used to be so quiet and crackly, but now I think it's a lot better, Tom.
What, for the halftime announcements and stuff?
I don't think it's.
It's quiet, but it's all right.
I don't think it's something we need at the minute. And again, I think there's a lot more to be concerned about than the PA system, Tom, but who knows? Toast is super small, says Tim. My friend supports Rangers after we played them in the Fairs Cup, says Be Happy. XXX says, Steve, Holly, you got German doner kebab in Newcastle. It's a must. German doner kebab? Is there any, what's the difference?
Well, apparently it's this place that's open. I think it's like somewhere in and around the big market, and it's meant to be like healthier, I think. I've been wanting to try it for a while, but I've never been. All
right, Be Happy says, Steve and Holly, have you been to Eat for Less in Newcastle? It's really good. I haven't. I've seen it. I've passed it.
I haven't been.
No, okay. That PA system at Everton is crystal clear with them strange safety announcement mid-games. Yeah, I heard that today. It was weird, wasn't it? That's happened at Liverpool games as well. I don't know what on earth that is. It's strange. Be Happy says we need some new video screens. Yeah, we do, because the one we've got in the ground is like a TV.
Well, I can't even see it from where I sit.
Yeah, we do need some new screens, 100%. And a visible screen would be lovely, says David Sewell. Yeah, we definitely need it, especially for VR decisions and stuff like that. Vince, evening. How's your head, son? Another one who was out yesterday. I bet it's a bit sore like mine this morning. Probably just with our singing, because I'm not even sure whether you were drinking. Yes, there is a German doner kebab in Newcastle. It's on Newgate Street. It is amazing, says Tom. Tim Cairns says we need just Jason Lockwood to host the Tannoy. Justin Lockwood, I think it is, not Jason. Rob Byron does a good job. I think he's great, Rob. I would miss his enjoy the game. I'd miss that if he was off. I did laugh a couple of games ago when the birthday list went on right all the way through half time. I did ask him about it when I saw him a few days later, and he was laughing. He says, yeah, I've never had as many birthdays at half time ever. Atike has the skills. Does he have enough body to mix it up in the Premier? He's a young lad, Holly, isn't he? But he looks the part, and he's been praised by the likes of Thierry Henry, and they're calling him potentially the next Mbappe.
Yeah, definitely. I'd certainly like to take that gamble and see if he could hit the ground running at Newcastle, because let's face it, we're not going to go in and get one of the world-class proven strikers at this stage. We're a few years off that now.
It's Justin Lockwood, not Jason Be Happy, but he's still there. He's still in and around the ground. It's just because with COVID, there was a COVID zone set up, so nobody could go on the pitch. But I think he will be back sooner rather than later. Had German doner kebab in Newcastle and in York whilst on a stag do. It's another level to anything you get from normal takeaways, says Tom. I'll have to try this now then, mate, with all of these reviews. The PA system is a lot clearer and without doubt louder, says Roger. The enjoy the game is legendary. It is. Be happy. That Anissa's down the quayside's decent. Had to roll me out of there last night.
What, the Indian place?
Is it an Indian place? I don't know.
I think so. I think it's the Indian buffet. If it is, it's quite nice.
Is it? I haven't been there. Vince says, no, man, I don't drink. Great singing, great laugh. Malcolm was as class as ever. I managed to get the crowd in the Dog and Parrot yesterday to sing Supermax Superstar Malcolm's old song. I'd had a couple of drinks by the time Malcolm arrived back at the bar, and we got him because we got beat yesterday. I got Malcolm to tell a story about his home debut, which went down a storm, and then I got the whole bar to sing Supermax Superstar, and he loved it. So it was fantastic that yesterday. What happened to the referee's clock at the stadium? So people know it's nearly half time and full time. There's still a clock on the screen, Tom. But other than that, I don't know. I think the most frustrating thing about clocks in the stadium is when it gets extra time, or your additional minutes, the clock stops on 45 and it stops on 90 and it doesn't progress. Do you know what I mean? So you've got no idea how long the game's got. I don't know why they do that, but that's a problem up and down the country. Great day, brilliant atmosphere as well. Cheers for the Supermax shirt as well, Craig. Good to see you, mate, and well done on winning the raffle. It's Ekatiki, not Etiki, says Yano. Thank you. It wasn't me who said it, was somebody in the chat, but I know you are correct. Geordie in Lowestoft says, evening Steve and Holly, great listening to you both from Lowestoft, most eastern place in the UK. Excellent. Glad you're enjoying it, and nice to have you tuned in, and it's great to see so many exiled mags tuning into the different shows that we have each week. Who would you like to come up with Fulham from the Championship, Holly?
I'm trying to think of who's in the top sort of six. I think Sheffield United's still in and around it, aren't they?
Let's have a look whilst we're on, because we sometimes get caught on the hot book questions.
So Watford second, I think.
Let's have a look. Let's go to the fixtures from yesterday into the Championship. So your top six, Fulham promoted. You've got Bournemouth, Forest, Huddersfield, Luton, or Sheffield United.
Well, I'd 100% want Sheffield United promoted. I don't think they'll manage to make it, but I'd love to see them come up because I absolutely love away days at Bramall Lane. And apart from that, wouldn't be too fussed, to be fair. I don't really want Bournemouth to come up. I know they probably will, but just because the ground capacity is so small and it's a nightmare for tickets and stuff. I'd quite like to go to Luton, though. So that's probably my three.
There's one more game to go, and Middlesbrough are 2 points outside the playoffs. Would you like to see Middlesbrough come up if they could make it?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
You just don't like the other North East teams doing well, do you? Do you want Gateshead to come up? Do you want Gateshead to come up?
Yeah, that's fine. It's not affected. But the thing is, right, it's the way it is at the moment. Newcastle's at the very top. They're nowhere near us, and that's the way it should always be.
Okay, well, I'd like to see Middlesbrough get into the playoffs, and I'd like to see Middlesbrough get promoted. But if that doesn't happen, I'd like to see Nottingham Forest come up. That's my choice.
Yeah, Notts Forest would be good.
Yeah. I was in hospitality for the game a few weeks ago, but it's getting harder to get tickets now. Yeah, you're 100% right. There wasn't a problem with the clock yesterday. It was there like normal, says Tom. Any idea when our next home game?
Arsenal Monday night.
Yeah, Arsenal on the Monday night, but I'm presuming that's what you mean. Be happy. Women's game was great, over 22,000, amazing, and one Darth Vader. Well done, Vince. I did see the photograph of you dressed up, mate. Well done, great effort. Click the likes before you go, peeps. Thanks, Holly and Steve. Take care, says Julie. Thank you, thank you, Julie. I told one of my staff members I was talking to Supermac whilst at work, and he didn't know him. Feel old. I had to explain fully. Terrible. Borough, says Jobatini. Yes, Borough. I'd like to see Borough come up. I'd like to see them in the Premier League. I'd like to see all the North East teams in the Premier League, with Newcastle being the top dog. It's the Derby games are great. I miss them. Sorry, home shirts. When's the next home shirt come out? Well, it'll be in the summer, I would imagine, if we get a new sponsor, etc. Roger wants Forest to come up like me. Rachel says, I'd love Huddersfield to go up, as I could arrange to meet you guys for a drink before the match, because that's where Rachel's based. That would be good. Trull says, I've just read that the club are offering Longstaff, Sean, a 4-year deal. With are they thinking he is too slow, misses too many passes, and gives away the ball often? Yeah, but Eddie Howe clearly likes him, Holly.
Yeah, he does, and probably because you've got to have so many kind of homegrown players in your team as well. I think that'll play to his advantage, and he is kind of a solid choice to have in the squad. Not a starter, certainly not, but to have in the squad, he's great, and I can imagine in the dressing room he's good as well. Would you keep Fernandes? That's a question I wanted to ask you.
Definitely not. Guy clearly has some kind of issue. I don't know what it is, and it's pointless because he just doesn't want to play. He's a great player, and if he was available to play, then yeah, I would play him. But I've got no idea what's the matter with him. I sympathise for whatever the personal issue is. but he's no use to us if he can't play. He's clearly training. He's clearly been fit. He had that one appearance where he came on, but you know what use is a player? Same as Dwight Gale. He's taking up a place in the squad and he's not able to contribute. So for me, players out the door. I wouldn't keep a hold of Shelvey because Shelvey's not capable of competing at the highest level anymore. I wouldn't keep a hold of Lascelles because I don't rate him as a captain or a centre half. And I would like to replace him with somebody who's world class. Richie, as much as it pains me, his legs have gone and it's time to say goodbye and thank you to him. I wouldn't keep a hold of I wouldn't keep a hold of Fernandez. As I've said, I would also look at changing the goalkeeper situation. I don't think we should keep a hold of Darlow. I would bring in somebody instead of Darlow. And Dwight Gale is surplus to requirements as well because he's not playing. There's 6 players who could go.
What about Murphy?
I will keep Murphy. I think Murphy will improve under Eddie Howe. I think he's a game changer. He's a bit of an impact player. I will keep a hold of him. Almiron is 50-50 with me. I think he's done enough to warrant an opportunity, but again, it depends on who they've got, who they're going to bring in. And I've said on the show before, unless ASM can change his ways, then if a deal's done for ASM, I wouldn't be upset if ASM left. As long as we were bringing in a replacement. I don't see a place for Hayden in the team either.
Yeah, I agree.
I really don't. Smoggies are staying in the Championship. Forest are going up. Borough are from Yorkshire, it's the south side. Roger doesn't want you unwashed. Sorry, mate. Nottingham Forest for me, says Be Happy. Has to be Bournemouth. It may be poor, but it's near my house, says Paul. Sheffield Wednesday back in the Premier League, says Dean. I'm delighted Cher is staying. What other players do you want to stay and who do you want to go? Well, we've just done the who you want to go. So I think the rest can stay, Holly.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Huddersfield, says Tom. It'll be interesting to see who we get rid of. Our time is coming, but with quality players. Gale's got to go, says Roger. And I would sell Darlow, Lascelles, Gale and Shelvey. I think we all pretty much agree. That is the end of the show. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. God knows how long they're going to do this week. These guys, honestly, Pete and Chris, they do a fantastic job on a Monday night, but they're hedging towards 4 hours last week, I think it was. But it's a great show. Don't forget, it's your chance to come on the screen. Let's have a few new faces as well. There's plenty of people coming on each week, which is great. But let's have some new faces. If you're brave enough, the link will be in the chat tomorrow. Get yourself on 7 o'clock with Pete and with Chris. And look back at the last 7 days at Newcastle United. Thanks, as always, for joining me and Holly. It's always a pleasure. And I will see you all on Tuesday when I'm back in the morning with Ross Gregory. Take care, Holly.
Take care. Bye.